Was it a mistake or simply an oversight? Whatever you want to call it, when lawmakers legalized recreational marijuana 2 years ago, there was a slip-up that nobody noticed, not legislators, not even the governor.
But Larry Barker noticed, and it's a blunder that is having a major impact on the new cannabis industry. Here's Larry's report, The Glitch.
My reaction was utter shock.
I don't know how that was missed, but nothing is perfect.
I was shocked. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It was a monumental measure, vigorously debated, approved by lawmakers, and signed into law 2 years ago. The Cannabis Regulation Act was heralded as the most sweeping drug policy reform in New Mexico history. Today, with more than 1,000 licensed pot shops across the state, it's as easy to buy a joint as it is to buy a quart of milk.
In order to protect the integrity of the new marijuana industry, lawmakers inserted a provision in the law requiring federal FBI criminal background checks on high-level applicants for cannabis industry licenses.
Linda Trujillo is superintendent of the Regulation and Licensing Department.
It was important to ensure that individuals who are applying for a cannabis license as part of a business establishment don't have a criminal background.
State Rep Bill Ream is a retired law enforcement officer.
We don't want to have criminals licensed in New Mexico using the marijuana location as a way to launder their money from other criminal activities.
Since the recreational marijuana industry was legalized 2 years ago, more than 2,600 individuals have been licensed by the state. So, how many of those had a federal FBI background check? None.
If somebody applies for licensure in this industry and they have a significant criminal background out of state, would you know about it?
Unless they told us, we would not know about it.
You see, when lawmakers made FBI background checks a key provision of the cannabis bill 2 years ago, nobody bothered checking with the FBI. In fact, it was only after recreational marijuana became legal that state officials discovered a glitch in the cannabis statute. According to the FBI, a section of the new law does not comply with federal requirements. As a result, the FBI is not performing federal criminal background checks on New Mexico cannabis applicants.
The only records that we technically get are state criminal records. But you could have someone from out of state who attempts to get a cannabis license, and we don't get information about their criminal history in other states.
The fact that the FBI criminal background checks are not being done, does that bother you today?
Absolutely. Criminals here in New Mexico or from out of state can come in here and get licensed and we wouldn't even know it.
This is why with legislation, we don't ram it through in a special session before anybody can spot problems with the bill, because then we have stuff like this come out.
Luke Nefratos is vice president of the advocacy group SAM, Smart Approaches to Marijuana.
Viewers should be very concerned about the fact that they are not looking at the federal backgrounds of people applying for marijuana licenses in New Mexico right now. What this means is that right now, the state could be giving legal sanction to members of cartels.
Case in point, last year the state licensed a business to produce marijuana at this Albuquerque warehouse. Following an inspection, the facility owner told investigators his business partners were, quote, Sinaloa cartel members and had been threatening his life. He said he was scared of what could happen to him and that his business partners told him they have disposed of dead bodies for the Sinaloa cartel and would harm him if he didn't comply with their demands.
Earlier this year, state regulators alleged the marijuana production facility committed violations of the Cannabis Regulation Act, including improper transportation of marijuana. That case is pending. And in May, the two businessmen accused of links to the Sinaloa cartel were removed from the firm's cannabis license. What is it going to take for the Cannabis Control Division to get federal criminal background checks?
It is going to take a legislative fix. It absolutely is a legislative fix.
The lack of FBI background checks for industry applicants was brought to the attention of lawmakers here at the Roundhouse in January.
State Rep. Tara Lujan sponsored House Bill 331 to amend the Cannabis Regulation Act.
The consequences of us not passing this legislation is that we open ourselves up to licensees coming into the state and not having a full background check and us not knowing if they have a criminal background that would compromise this industry.
With bipartisan support, House Bill 331 was neither political nor controversial.
However, legislators apparently thought FBI background checks weren't very important. Rather than fixing the problem, lawmakers opted to look the other way. So it sailed through and the governor signed it?
No, it did not sail through. It did not make it through House Judiciary Committee.
And here it died. FBI background checks will just have to wait, perhaps next year. Representative Lujan says she will ask the governor to make this issue a priority in 2024.
This should not be controversial. This is not about politics or whether we think marijuana is good or bad. This is about just doing the bare minimum to protect New Mexico's families.
This legislation invites in criminal activity when you can't do the background checks. We need to fix it. We need to fix it quickly.
Larry Barker, KRQE, News 13.
Quite a story.